Welcome, everyone. My name is Tina Walker, and I am here with my colleague, Sarah G. Malvozen. We're part of the mental health team at Vibrant Women Wellness, which is found and owned by Dr. Fasida Rahman. Due to her love for women's healthness and belief that mental, physical, and spiritual health factors should be incorporated into treating provided to women, she began Vibrant Women Wellness Counseling to foster professionals of varying backgrounds to work together to provide holistic care. But we thank you today for joining us in this presentation, in which we will be focusing on stress management. At Vibrant Women Wellness Counseling, we are a mental health company that focuses on servicing teens to adult women, specifically ages 13 plus to 65 and older. We're a Christian-based company, and we incorporate spirituality in our therapeutic sessions only if our clients suggest that we do so. Otherwise, we leave it out. We work with individuals from all ethnic diverse cultures, Christians, non-Christians, and other world religions. We offer individual, couple, family, and group counseling, such as developing one's self-esteem, parenting, whether you have, issues, with parenting with kids, struggling work, being a mom, a wife, and trauma, any like past traumatic issues. We have groups with like-minded individuals and much more. We provide educational workshops as well relating to mental health topics. And we also provide various community events that people can participate in, such as like poetry nights, book club meetings, and painting events. We do weekly checkups as well. We, like call weekly, check in to see how you're doing, how you're doing with your goals, just trying to keep you accountable. Our main focus is really to meet you where you are in your journey. Like when you come to us, it's like where you are in your journey, what's going on in your life. We meet you at that place and we collaboratively walk with you through that journey of healing, to that place of wholeness. And we pretty much work to strengthen women's resilience amidst their challenges and to foster the development of vibrancy in their life. Right now, I'm going to turn the floor over to Sarah, which she will show you about stress effects and tips, to manage, especially during this time of COVID, like Athena mentioned earlier, all the stress that we're dealing with currently and even going into the new year 2021. So Sarah will now show you a PowerPoint presentation in regards to stress management.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Jean. As my colleague mentioned, today we are going to focus on what stress can look like and some tips and tricks to help manage it within the realms of the COVID-19 safety guidelines. As we know, this year has been a really tough year for so many people, and in stress and stress management. Those tips and tricks will be very important in just helping you go forward. So I'm just going to go ahead. So before we start talking about the tips and tricks, we have to discuss the signs and symptoms to be aware of, because stress can look differently for different people. So we're just going to talk about that. So there are a couple of images on the screen, and they you can see some of the physical, mental, and emotional symptoms that come with stress. So that's what we're going to discuss. First, we're going to talk about the physical symptoms. Some of the symptoms that you can experience if you're stressed are headaches, difficulty sleeping, tiredness, pain, most commonly in the back, in the neck, overeating, undereating, skin problems, drug and alcohol misuse, lack of energy, upset stomach, less interest in sex and other things that you used to enjoy, as well as hair loss. So these are some of the physical symptoms that you can experience if you're stressed out. Some of the emotional symptoms as well include anxiety, depression, anger, unhappiness, irritability, feelings of being out of control, mood swings, frustration, um, which leads into the mental signs of stress. And these are forgetfulness, worry, inability to make a decision, negative thinking and feelings, lack of focus, and boredom. So if you find yourself unable to retain information or forgetting what you're about to do, forgetting certain things, you're unable to make decisions, these can be signs of stress in your life. So some of the occupational signs and symptoms of stress in occupational can include your work, school, or any other activities that you are involved in. You can start feeling overwhelmed by the workload. Long hours, you start feeling overwhelmed by the long hours that you're working. You can start experiencing tense relationships with your coworkers and supervisors, and which makes sense because if you start experiencing a lot of anxiety and depression, that can cause you to sort of withdraw yourself, and that can cause some issues with your relationships with other people. Poor concentration, you might even start feeling unfulfilled by your job. Some of the social symptoms include less intimacy in our relationships, whether it be with family, friends, or loved ones. Um, um, Isolation from friends and family problems, and loneliness. And lastly, some spiritual symptoms as well. Your spiritual life can definitely be affected by stress. You can start experiencing apathy, which is essentially lack of concern or enthusiasm about aspects of your spiritual life or your walk with God. Um, you may also experience loss of meaning, feelings of emptiness, unforgiveness, doubt, guilt, despair, and lack of faith. Um, so now that we talked about the signs and symptoms, we are going to look at how stress affects your body. So we talked about the mental and emotional symptoms. So we're just going to start with those. Depression and anxiety. Women especially have a higher rate of experiencing these conditions in other psychological disorders, which include panic disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. And if you're not aware, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, is a disorder where you have these obsessive thoughts that make you do these compulsive actions. So for example, you can see you see on in the media, someone has to check the lock 3 times before they leave because they're concerned that or they're afraid someone's going to die in their lives if they don't do that. So that can be one of the really extreme causes of extreme stress in someone's life. So some other things that you can experience, like I mentioned before, anger, unhappiness, irritability, feelings of being out of control, mood swings, frustration. You may find yourself experiencing a lot of guilt, self-doubt, and negative thoughts. And those negative thoughts, a lot of times they're veered towards yourself. So you can start feeling, inadequate. You start doubting yourself, which affects your self-esteem and, causes depression and anxiety as well. So some other physical symptoms, heart problems. Just going to, okay, so this image is, I thought it was just interesting to see here. Hold on a second, I don't think you can see the image. Are you able to? Okay, so you're able to see the image of the body, I'm sorry. So the image here, what stress does to the body, you can see the heart is stressed as a runner. It looks very exhausted. That's basically what happens when you're stressed out. The stress increases blood pressure and heart rate. Your heart starts overworking, which causes heart problems. You experience headaches and migraines, tension headaches, which are more common in women than men. Obesity, something else that stress can bring. Women are more prone to stress-related weight gain than men. And we talked about overeating in the beginning, which is a sign of stress. You can start eating and, we all heard of stress eating. People do that. It's a way for them to self-soothe. And, if you're not careful, that can lead to obesity. Bowel movement problems. Stress can lead to such bowel problems as irritable bowel syndrome, which is a very common bowel movement problem. For women, pregnancy issues. Women with higher stress levels have a more difficult time becoming pregnant than women with lower stress levels. Lastly, menstrual problems. I think most women are aware of PMS, premenstrual syndrome, which is severe. The symptoms become more severe with increasing stress levels. So now that we talked about the effects of stress, the signs and symptoms, we are going to talk about, some of the tips that, we put together to help you manage the stress that you're experiencing. All right, so as you can see on the screen, there are different images to just to explain what I'm going to discuss. The first is goal setting. So planning ahead, having clearly defined goals can help ease the overwhelming feeling of having so many tasks to complete. So if you're able to plan ahead, you know what you have to do for the week, and you're able to write it down, make to-do lists, it'll be easier for you. It'll be less overwhelming once the week starts. So bullet journaling is something that's really in right now. A lot of people use it's like you have a planner that's also kind of like a journal. So you're planning for your week, but for your day, but you're also journaling. So say something happens during the day, you're able to journal, the feelings and thoughts and experiences while you still have your planner there. There are many videos on YouTube that show how to do that. It's very helpful for a lot of people. So that's something that you can try as well to help. Exercise, and that includes at-home workouts, yoga, daily stretching routines. I know right now, because of the pandemic, many people may feel a bit iffy about going to the gym. So at-home workouts, that's helpful. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that you can, watch and work out along with yoga, which has been proven to help with anxiety and stress. Even a daily stretching routine that you can include in your daily routine. You can wake up in the morning before you start tackling everything, you stretch for a few minutes. An exercise routine can not only help you lose weight, but also help you feel better. Your body releases chemicals called endorphins during exercise, which trigger a positive feeling in your body, similar to that of morphine. And morphine, if any of you are unaware, is a narcotic that's prescribed to patients to manage pain, and it gives them that high feeling. So when you exercise, your body releases the endorphins, you start feeling better. It's almost like being on morphine, basically. So that's something that that you can try. It's not only helpful to help you lose weight, but it can also help you manage your stress symptoms. Another one is eating well. It may seem insignificant, but eating a well-balanced diet and making sure you're eating enough is also important. So one of the previous symptoms that I talked about is undereating. Sometimes when you have so much to do, you can forget to eat. So if you find yourself forgetting to eat, you can put reminders on your phone, or talk to someone around you to help keep you accountable of your time to eat, because you need the nutrition, you need the energy to be able to focus on your responsibilities. Another one is communicating your needs and emotions to your partner or others around you. Don't hesitate to express to your partner or family or friends what you need. If you need help with any task, for example, even if you need someone to talk to, you need help expressing your emotional needs. I know it's a very vulnerable state to be in, to feel like you have to, express yourself to someone else, but it can be very helpful. Also focusing on positives. I talked about negative self-talk and self-doubt. A lot of those negative thoughts are geared towards yourself. Focusing on the positives in your life can be helpful to sort of dissuade those negative thoughts. So focusing on the things that you're grateful for example. Something else that we suggest to clients is gratitude journaling, where say you wake up in the morning and you have some time to jot down a few things that you're grateful for. You know, today I'm grateful for my health, for my family, grateful for my job, and so on. Spirituality, and I think I mentioned one of the symptoms is one of the ways that stress affects your life is it affects your spiritual life. Spirituality can be a great help for many. So prayer, fellowshipping with a religious community, a prayer journal. That's something else that we suggest. Meditation, self introspection, and so on. So once you're able to focus on your spiritual life, or your walk with God, or whoever, whatever higher being that you pray to or you go to, it can be helpful in in helping manage some of those symptoms that you're experiencing. Lastly, seeking professional help. Don't hesitate to reach out to a professional if you're unable to manage all of these symptoms on your own, especially if they get to a point where you're unable to do your work. That includes your PCP, your primary care provider. If you start experiencing some physical symptoms that are a bit hard for you to manage on your own, don't hesitate to go to the doctor, especially when it comes to heart problems, gut problems, and some other problems that I mentioned, like stomach issues and heart problems. Yeah. If you are suffering from any of the physical symptoms, definitely reach out to your PCP or any other specialists that they might recommend. Also, therapy has been proven to be quite effective for many. There is no shame in seeking professional help. That is why it's available. So if you are having a difficult time with any anxiety, depression, self-doubt, guilt, negative thoughts, this is a moment to reach out to a mental health professional, and seek out the help that you need. And while on the subject of professional help, like my colleague mentioned before, we do offer mental health services. We offer individual, group, and family counseling. And because of the current pandemic, everything is virtual. So you don't even have to leave your home. You can reach out to us by phone, by email. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vibrant Women NYC. We share tips on our social media pages on how to manage different issues. You can also check our website, which is www.vibrantwomen.me. And we have a blog every month with a different subject every month. Where we also share some tips there as well. This month of December, we focus on holiday stresses and how to manage that. So feel free to check us out. We out-of-pocket costs vary depending on the provider you work with, but we also offer sliding scale pay. So if you are interested, please reach out to us. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask them.
Sorry, I was on mute and all that other stuff. But thank you, ladies. For I was saying, I don't know if you saw my message. We were saying that we couldn't see the entire we couldn't see the screen past the
Oh,
first stage.
I'm so sorry about that.
It wasn't going through. So I don't know if you just want to share show the screen briefly. I mean, you still have some time.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, I don't know if anybody had any questions that they would like to ask about stress and how to relieve stress. Thank you very much for this. This was very helpful. Can I ask you, ladies, what got you involved with even talking about this?
Talking
Okay.
about stress.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, pretty much since COVID, it's like so many, like we receive so many clients, just they're just so overwhelmed. Like it's like every client, they're overwhelmed, anxiety, and everything revolves around stress, right? And just the need to help them through this, especially like grief, because that's a part of it too. Like with the whole pandemic and loss, of not just death, but also of job, financial security, the
Mm.
fact that they're not able to see their loved ones as they used to, and even like other family members, observing other family members just going through just a season, of like depression. They're stressed out by watching other family members, going through just a certain depressive state in their life. And even now coming down to the holiday season, the fact that you have loved ones and you're grieving in a time which is supposed to be joyful and happiness. Yeah, so we
Mhm.
decided that a lot of people are going through this, and it's just something that we need to talk about, because so many people are going through these things, and it's like they're stuck in this space, and it's
Yeah.
like, do they have the support system that they need to push forward? Many of us don't. Many of us don't want to talk about it. But
Mhm.
just opening up, I guess, making this a conversation piece to open up the floor to say,
Mhm.
hey, it's okay. Your stress is okay to talk about it. There's no shame in it. So yeah, just try to be more vulnerable and transparent, because many of us are not,
Right.
and it's okay to do so.
No, I definitely I agree with you, and thank you for sharing that. I find that it isn't something that people are readily able to have a conversation about. Sarah Jean, can you go back to the slide where it showed what is happening to the body with stress?
Sure.
Uh,
Okay. This one, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you're talking about feeling worried. Yeah. Well.
right. As you can see, different parts of the body are affected. And I like this image specifically because it shows you the organs and what's going on with them, you're not only feeling stress yourself, but your insides also are stressed out. Um,
Mhm.
so it's very important to be aware of that and, take care of it while it's happening. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's good to know, especially with COVID, because COVID is something that attacks what do you call it, nervous system, and um, it's almost like a double whammy, right? You have the stress of life and going to work, and those are the ones that are catching it because of, the level of stress that's already been on their body. So, um, and then even, a lot of people are are talking about, one of the things that was being shared about COVID is that it's affecting the reproductive organs.
Mm-hmm.
That it's becoming, people are losing, a number of having fertility issues. So just to see this, and I'm like, this is again another layer to just that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Being mindful of what we're also putting in our body as far as what we're seeing and how that's affecting, and we don't realize it because we're not taking the time to just stop and just breathe, and be aware of our bodies. So I definitely appreciate you sharing this. I would love for you to, if you could send me the slides, I would love to share this on our site. Do you want to talk about the events that you have coming up?
Sure. So on January 16, we have a virtual poetry slash vision board night, and it's from 6 till 8 p.m. It's 15 per person, and actually, I think I have the poster here I can share. Right, so it's basically an opportunity for clients to come in and share their own poetry that they've written, and we're also going to I guess talk about and do a vision board for the year, because this is the time to do that in January, where you come up with new goals and aspirations that you have for the year. So, yeah.
So that's cool. You guys are doing a vision board. I'm very excited. I did a vision board 2 years ago, and this year was the first, not first, but this year, a lot of what I had written down and put pictures to 2 years ago is what manifested this year for me and during 2020. And it's funny because it wasn't something I was even paying attention to in this year. Everybody using COVID, and one of the things that I said was we would have like multiple more movie nights with the kids, and have that on a regular basis. And it was like, look, so it happened. It wasn't, something forced. And what was another thing was that I wanted to do more working from home. And I was like, look at this. So like things that manifested 2 years ago, they're coming to pass. And I was able to, kind of see and see it in real life. So I definitely feel that being intentional and being purposeful on where you want your life to go is very helpful. So definitely um, hope that guests can join you guys, and I put your website in a link, which is vibrantwoman.me. We want to thank you, ladies, for joining us. I don't know if you have any last words before you go that you want to share with everybody.
Yeah, I just want to say, in the midst of COVID, in the midst of what's going on, right, turning a negative into a positive, even though, we're losing loved ones and, we're losing jobs and everything, just to look at what we have, and be grateful for that, and just to realize that even though many of us have lost jobs and we're home, just think about what can I do moving forward, right? Maybe they have never thought about entrepreneurship, right? Maybe that's something that you could, look into. Just try to, change your mindset, and just think of other possible ways in which you can maneuver your life moving forward. It's at the end of the year. We are going into the new year where we just have to look forward to a lot of greatness, right? Instead of just ruminating on negative thoughts, it's like change that narrative, right? What do we want that new narrative of ourselves to be, right? Just looking into that and just build from that, changing the narrative to our own new narrative.
No, I definitely agree with that. So thank you. Sarah, did you want to share anything, any last words as well?
Yes, I mean, the last thing is, of course, if you need the help, if you need the mental help, if you feel like you need to talk to someone, don't hesitate to do so. Therapy is confidential, and you don't have to, if you feel iffy about it, you don't have to let your surroundings know that you're going to therapy. But it is about doing the work for yourself. So don't hesitate to reach out if you need the help, because the help is available. That's my last thought. My last thought. Yeah.
No problem. Well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you joining us. And I will look out for that email for the information so that I can